All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Retro Filmdango, episode number 33. This is the troll episode, and I think Richard and I both got trolled by Curtis.
And how?
I will say I will never bet Curtis ever again.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad. Was it?
There's a logic. There's a logic to this, and I'll reveal that as we get towards the end.
There is a logic.
I know what you did.
So I want to talk about. We all know it was a bet I made with Kevin. I got to pick the Halloween programming, but you did have some other options. Did you want to talk about that really quick before we dive too deep into the films?
So we could have went with Trolls, horror comedy, and what was the third one?
Horror anthologies.
Horror anthologies. So I still figure that these were all avenues that went to Ernest Scared Stupid. No matter what we would have picked, Ernest Scared Stupid would have been one of the picks.
There's a very good chance that Ernest Scared Stupid would have ended. Not horror anthologies. I couldn't figure out a way. But would you like to hear what you missed out on?
Yes.
Maybe some other horror film recommendations for all you film danglers out there. So let's start with horror anthologies. I love horror anthologies. I thought it would be fun if you guys picked that. Essentially, we'd be like reviewing like 15 different little mini movies, right?
Okay.
And so for that, I was going to go with Tales from the Hood, which is a fantastic little horror film from 1995, socio-political commentary about, gangs and growing up in the hood.
So what's
very
the
good.
title again?
Tales from the Hood.
Tales from the Hood. That sounds familiar.
Underrated. They've started making sequels to it like the last couple of years. There's a third one coming out soon, but for years it was kind of this underrated horror anthology film. It's really good if you've never seen it. And then we were going to go with one I've never seen but has always been on my to watch list, and that's Trick or Treat, another anthology film. Like I said, never seen it, but everyone always talks it up, so that's kind of a modern cult classic. And then the last one, I hadn't decided yet. It was either going to be Creepshow, which is kind of the classic, or Body Bags, which we had talked about with the Tubi television. I hadn't decided yet if I wanted to go with a classic yet. So that's horror anthologies. But see, horror comedies, now this was going to be fun if you guys picked this. So I was going to, after you picked horror comedies, you were going to have another decision to make. Would you like, because there's two types of horror comedies. There's horror comedies or comedy horrors. And I was going to, did you want the more horror angle or the more comedic angle? You were going to have a choice there. Now, had you chosen more horror, we would have been watching An American Werewolf in London, my personal favorite horror film of all time. Drag Me to Hell, underrated Sam Raimi film. And then it was a toss-up. I hadn't decided yet. Either You're Next, which was a recent kind of subverting the slasher genre horror film, or Slither, which is James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame. Fun film. Now, had you picked comedy, we would have been watching Tucker and Dale versus Evil, What We Do in the Shadows, which is Taika Waititi. He did Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, good film. Jojo Rabbit, of course. Yeah, and then the last film would have been Bubba Hotep getting in.
Okay.
Bruce Campbell. So that's what you missed out on.
Yeah, these would have all been better options than what we ended up.
I gave you the options. You picked Trolls. I don't know why you picked Trolls.
Because it just seems simple. It
really seemed like you wanted Ernest.
Yeah,
I did very much.
You're always complaining that we don't make a decision. We don't just say something. So it's just Trolls. Trolls was just easy.
I'm proud of you guys. You picked the one I wanted you to pick because I did want to do Ernest. It was about time we got Ernest on some Filmdango. So I'm happy. But you did pick the worst one.
Yes, I would hope so. I hope we did. I just want to welcome into the chat Rocket Sauce, our hero. He's here once again, and Kyle joining us. So hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
Okay,
And Kyle. What an introduction.
Also Kyle. Also Kyle. Of Game Time with Kyle fame.
Mm-hmm.
And fortune. And Movie Time with Kyle. Actually follow him on Letterboxd. Because
Deke's
he's on Letterboxd.
here.
And Deke is here as well. Hey, Deke, how's it going? We're not going to be talking about movies, Deke. Or music. We're going to be talking about
Steven Eider's here.
bad. Oh well, this is Steven Eider's. I bet you Steven Eider loved all three of these movies. He would buy them if he found them at the dollar store for $1 each. He would buy them and watch them.
Me and Steven, we're on the same wavelength, I think.
Is that what that is? So wavelength.
That is what that is. Know what I mean?
I guess I do now. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start because we have another podcast to do after this, Richard. We gotta zip through this. We gotta keep it going. Because after this, we're talking about vinyl records. We're just all over the place. So I know. Isn't that something? Okay. Right. Movie number 1 is Trolls 2 from 1990.
Troll 2.
No S, just Troll 2.
Trolls 2 is that new garbage with the CGI trolls.
Oh, maybe that's why when I was always searching for it, those guys came up. And it was Troll 2. Troll 2. Okay. Let's see. How do I get this in here again? How did I do this again? Okay. Here we go. This is a very smooth transaction.
Transaction, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Here we go. Look at that. You can hear it now.
Oh, wow.
Oops.
You're late.
Sorry, we had a small mishap.
Here are the keys.
Here are the keys.
Have a nice stay in Millpond. You and our
Look at those faces. Oh, she's working out.
That was a great
too.
intro. That was a big part of her character.
It's the only part.
Powers of evil are very strong.
Grandpa Seth.
I must leave.
Oh.
That one scared me.
Well, they're not shy about showing the goods here in the
Yeah,
trailer.
they're getting right to it.
And remember,
This guy was the best actor.
He's the most memorable.
Just Troll 2. Oh, yeah.
they're eating her. They're going to eat me.
They didn't show the best line.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was wondering, they're going to show the whole thing.
so dizzy.
Put a lot of money into that makeup. They have to show it off.
Oh,
Delicious.
Oh, gosh.
she was something else.
Yeah.
She was definitely the standout.
Acting. Well, you can see some leg.
No more popcorn.
For the sacred power of the magic stone.
Well,
Boy, how long is this trailer?
this is just a supercut of the film.
It's the whole movie. Wow. Oh, you can
There you
get 1 and 2. Scream Factory.
Wow.
There you go. Okay, how do I get us back? There we go. Boom. Okay. Troll 2. Who wants to give us the rundown? Richard, you're ready to go.
Ahem. A vacationing family discovers that the entire town they're visiting is inhabited by goblins disguised as humans who plan to eat them. And that's the movie. Hang on, I need to get my notes here.
The film
Let's do this
stars
rundown.
Yeah, that's
Michael Stevenson, George Hardy, Margot Prey. It's directed by Claudio Fragasso as Drake Floyd. What? Really? He was like using a pseudonym? He He wasn't
Wouldn't
proud
you?
of this work. Writing credits go to Rosella. I don't know. Drudy, Claudio Fragasso as Drake Floyd again. It's got a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes. The budget was probably low, and the box office was probably a couple of bucks.
Was this even in? Like, was it direct to video or was it in theaters?
I'm sure it.
It probably played in a theater.
Yeah, a couple art
Somewhere.
houses.
The entire cast went to a casting call hoping to be extras and ended up in lead roles.
That makes sense.
A little bit.
Director Claudio Fagasso and his wife Rosella Druidia, who only spoke Italian, wrote the screenplay in very poor English. On set, the actors suggested that they ad-lib their lines to make the dialogue sound better. Fagasso forbade that, and all of the lines had to be read as written. That makes sense.
That does make sense. The entire crew spoke only Italian, spiccenti, except for the costume designer who translated the director's directions to the actors.
Shot in 3 weeks. All of this makes sense.
Good fun fact. The film was originally titled Goblins. Well, duh. But distributors in the U.S. felt the film would not succeed on its own as a standalone project, so they insisted it be named Troll 2, despite not having anything to do at all with the first movie.
Michael Paul Stevenson says that the infamous piss on hospitality, the script called to act possessed, jump up on the chair, and start screaming. On the day of shooting, Claudio Fragasso, the director, pulls me aside, looks at the script, and says, possessed. That bullshit. Boring. You stand up, you piss on the table. Being 10 years old, I was thinking, what? But Claudio says, you don't worry. You jump on table, you unzip zipper, we cut, piss on table.
There you go.
The next fun fact is my favorite one.
Once had a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I love it. It once had.
Once it is
Somebody
since
gave it a good
jumped up. It is rocketed as high as 6%.
So yeah, there's a lot that doesn't make sense about this movie.
There's a lot that makes sense once you know what went into the movie.
Well, first of all, why does this movie exist? That's the first thing that I can't figure out.
Another fun fact, which I left off because it was easy to remember, is that the director and his wife, their friends had become vegetarians for a short point. And that was the catalyst for the little spark for the idea for the film. It went somewhere else entirely, but they figured, let's make a horror comedy. And it was intended to be a horror comedy.
Was it?
It was, and from what I can tell in the research I've been doing here, it was intended to be a horror comedy. Unfortunately, all of the comedy in the film comes unintentionally, because you could sum up this movie in one word, which is acting.
Acting.
Oh,
Acting.
I don't know. The community theater they plucked all these stars from, but.
I mean, I started watching the movie, and I was like, "This kid is like the worst actor." And then his sister comes in. I'm like, "This girl, she's the worst actor." And then Dad comes in. This guy is the worst actor. It was just the acting just got worse as the movie went on.
It was a cavalcade of terrible. Yeah.
Well, you got the one woman who, I guess, the Goblin Queen, who is overacting to such a degree.
Yeah.
Maybe she had some experience in the community theater.
Yeah, because she was very animated in that. This is like very
right,
old
and
school.
she had some sense of pacing, and it was off. It was way off, but at least you could see she was trying really hard. The preacher guy was somewhat in that level too, but everybody else was just, these are words written on a page. Say them out loud when the camera is on.
Yeah. So wait, I just want to go over the plot of the film really quick, dig a little bit deeper. So this family they're doing like a family swap thing. Like they're a family from the city and they're swapping a house like for the weekend. They're going to this family that lives out on this farm, town. And they're in Nilbog, which did not see that twist coming a million miles away.
Blown.
Had to see the word in the mirror to get that connection.
So they're going to swap with this family, right? Which they show up and they're like, here's our keys. Okay. Whatever. We can talk about that later. And then what ends up happening is this town is inhabited by goblins that want to feed them this like green stuff that turns them into, stay with me, turns them into like half plant, half human people, because that's what the goblins eat. It's not full plant. It's not full people. It's got to be kind of a mixture of both. And then the goblins can eat you.
Yeah.
And Grandpa Seth, who died, is also a ghost that can help the family, but move stuff and touch stuff. And other people can see him when he wants.
When he goes to the right room.
And and that's like a whole kind of separate story that's never really touched upon why that is happening.
No, Grandpa Seth has a whole lot of rules about his afterlife.
Yes.
No, I rewatched Beetlejuice recently, and there's a whole lot that doesn't make sense in the rules of their afterlife. But Grandpa Seth is on like a whole nother level. He can physically appear at times. Other times he can only be a big floating head. He has to understand the physical layout of a house in order to appear to the person he's trying to communicate with. Occasionally he has time limits where his power will end on the dot when the clock strikes 12. Other times he can do magic tricks. And you have to touch a rock and concentrate. That's what I got from Grandpa Seth. Creepy Grandpa Seth.
The thing is Grandpa Seth could have solved all of this by just appearing to the parents and saying, "Hey, I'm talking to you from the grave. This goblin stuff is real." But no, instead he goes to the kid and tries to get the kid to do everything, which doesn't make any sense. Of course, the kid actually does bring that up in the movie. He's like, "Why don't you just talk to mom and dad?" And he's like, "Well, your mom never believed me." But you've never tried showing up as an apparition before. And giving that a spin. You never know. It might, get your foot in the door. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some comments here in the chat that I need to show, or else people are going to leave. Bill says he's upset that he didn't watch these movies. I don't think he really is. I think that's sarcasm. No. And Rocket Sauce agrees with him. Bill also says Piss on Table was Kevin's band's name in college. I'm not going to deny that. Kyle says that it sounds like $1,000 budget. And Steven says this movie sounds like Gremlins.
No.
I don't think so.
No, unfortunately. You want to know what the scariest part of this movie was? The mom. Her eyes were piercing. They were terrifying, and I don't think she ever blinked once.
No, I was going to ask you about that, Curtis, because you've got the insider know-how. When you're a filmmaker, if you have not the greatest actors, is it such a good idea to constantly shoot extreme close-ups of their creepy, confused faces?
Well, the extreme close-up thing. That's a very popular. It's very popular in Italian cinema. You think of like the spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. They always had this extreme close-ups of the looking with the eyes. I think that's just more of an Italian thing.
Really?
But no, probably not the best. But at the same time, here's the thing: we all understand this movie is terrible, but it's an extremely fun watch if you're watching it with people and you're having some drinks and you can laugh at how terrible it is. So the fact that he does get these massive close-ups, I think enhances the comedy of it and is a gift to us, the viewer.
Well, this film really is that perfect storm of garbage and bad. Like you said, there have been a lot of times we've been doing this over the years where I wish we could have sat down and watched these things together. You know, we're in a situation where like we're never anywhere close to each other. But if we could somehow sit and watch this would be the one. Because I laughed a lot during watching this. There's so many of those moments where I just could not believe it's like it's not going to get any worse than this. And then wow, you know, you get some gold. Absolutely, it's a terrible movie, but highly entertaining.
Yeah.
So much to pick out, and just like I can't believe I'm seeing this. I can't believe somebody put this together and showed it to other people, and they said, "Yeah, put it in the theater."
Here's a fun story for you. I used to work at a coffee shop. You know, I live in Los Angeles. I used to work at a coffee shop right across the street from the New Beverly Cinema, which, if you're familiar, is this theater that Quentin Tarantino owns. And they show a lot of grindhouse movies there, a lot of exploitation films. And a few years ago, probably like 7 or 8 years ago now, they came out with a documentary called The Best Worst Movie, which is about Troll 2. And I got to meet the entire cast. I got to meet that family. They came over to the coffee shop, and I got to meet the dad, the mom. It was like the son and the daughter and the dad and the mom. I got to meet all of them. They came over.
Cool.
And yeah, it was like he had a test or something. And yeah, he was just supposed to be. He wanted to be an extra, and they cast him as the lead essentially.
That's the kid. The redheaded kid?
No. That's the dad.
Oh, the dad. Okay.
The dad.
The dad dentist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know of that documentary. I've seen like little clips here and there, which I saw, you know, before I saw this movie. I'm guessing this is your first time watching this, Kevin. You've never seen it before.
Yeah, I would always get this confused with the Leprechaun movies. Now I will never get them confused.
Oh no!
Again. I got it straight in my head now.
Leprechaun is on. That is like highbrow right now.
Oh yeah.
No, but from my understanding, the dad at least believes that when people are cheering for this movie, he takes it somewhat seriously. Like they think it's a great movie. Like, does that family, those actors, do they understand that this is just people are laughing at it?
I mean, I have to believe that they know. You know, they did a documentary called "The Best Worst Movie." You can't.
True.
You can't like be that thick, can you? I don't know. They were all very nice people. The mom, just like in the film, her in real life, her eyes are just like she's one of those people you can't look at for too long in the eye. Like you got to like look away because. It's like, you know how Native Americans feel like, or you used to hear like when you take a picture of them, they feel like it's stealing your soul. That's how I feel when I'm looking at her. Like a piece of my soul is getting sucked out.
So she's just a creepy lady.
Oh yeah. Very nice though. Very nice.
I noticed because I was following her eyes, she would look at the camera quite a bit.
Yes.
And it was very distracting. I find that like one of the like most distracting things when I see it, or even if, you know, you could tell that they're looking at, you know, the people behind the camera or whatever. I find that really distracting.
Well, it's one thing when they're delivering straight dialogue and, you know, they're kind of calm, but when, you know, it's one of those extreme moments and everything's getting kind of psycho. Sing the song, Josh. Sing the song that I like. And it's like,
row your boat and lay down.
Well, her thing was like they'd be coming around the corner or whatever, and she's looking at the camera crew, you know, to make sure that she doesn't run into them, you know, and that just I find that like really distracting when that happens.
Oh my goodness.
We got to talk about the best scene just for a second because now I could show it. Look, here we go. Are you ready for the best scene? Here we go. Troll 2's best scene. Oops. So. There's the guy.
This was something.
And then they're going to eat me. Oh my
Oh,
Yeah.
was that something? How there just managed to be a fly on his forehead for that one shot.
Yeah, and that oh my god was just was that just
I've
one
seen
take?
that. I've seen that used so many times
It's
over the
definitely-
years
yeah,
in
it's a
different like
internet
YouTube videos and stuff. And I kind of knew it was from this movie, but I never knew the context of it. Thank you, Curtis.
Well, now you know.
You're welcome.
That
My other
scene in
favorite-
itself. So no, I was just going to say that scene in itself was just so bizarre. The blocking, because it's the witch lady, the goblin queen,
Mhm.
and then two people, him and some girl he met in the woods. And then she starts acting her way all the way up the stairs. She's like foaming. I forget what happened to her, but she's like writhing and like going up the stairs. And, you know, geographically, the two of them are still on the first floor, and she's rolling up the stairs onto like a platform, a walkway
Balcony.
where they obviously could not see her anymore.
Right.
And she's on the floor melting. The goblins come out of a hallway in the back, and they're just staring up to a scene that they can't possibly see. It's just like there's so much of that.
Well, and that house that they ran into was obviously a church. You know,
It
and
was-
that
that's what
balcony is where the
When I
choir.
first saw it, I was like, that
That's a
is
church.
a church.
Yeah.
That looks like the church from that in the Tall Grass movie.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. My other favorite scene is the popcorn scene.
The scene
Yeah.
that has absolutely nothing to do with anything that goes on in the rest of the film.
It was like they just needed some
Exactly, but
romance in the movie or something.
well, they got it. Yeah, they got to get they got to earn that PG-13 rating or whatever they were going for. But yeah, so the witch lady or whatever that lady, she was. It's just the dialogue.
You got to
so perfect.
go. Wait, you got to go before this because it's Goblin Queen, right? And then she like transforms herself.
Right.
And, now I couldn't tell if it was just the makeup disappeared or was it a completely different actress.
I was trying to figure that out too.
I think it's
wanna
the same actress.
Is it? The
I couldn't
same?
tell because I was like, what would be the point of switching? Because this kid who has nothing to do with anything has no idea what's going on with goblins. He's sitting there watching a better movie than he's in a little Winnebago. And then she comes in trying to seduce him. And like, he has no idea who she is if she's the Goblin Queen. Like, what is the point of switching up your appearance?
I don't know. But I love it. They say, do you like corn? And then the guy says, I like popcorn, which has nothing to do with corn on the cob. And she's like, well, you know how you make popcorn? All you got to do is heat it up or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
They start making out with the corn in between them. And then because they're heating things up, it's the sweet corn or the corn on the cob they're eating starts becoming popcorn. And all it is people off camera throwing like big, bags full of popcorn at them.
Why don't we watch it?
That's a good suggestion.
Oh yeah, I could keep us in the thing. Can you hear that?
I can't hear it.
Oh, hold on. Let me put the music on. There we go.
Oh, I guess that is the same actress.
I
Just
think
without
it
all
is.
the makeup. Because she's obviously overdoing her performance.
This is great. If you guys haven't seen this, you're going to love this.
What a prop.
What's the matter? Aren't you hungry?
Actually, I like popcorn.
What the?
Well,
That's
no
not
problem.
It's
popcorn.
popcorn.
Yeah.
What we have to do is heat it up.
You know, that could be an acting thing. Maybe it was written, actually, I like popcorn.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be.
It's even got the kettle corn sound. With pop. The Jiffy Pop Popper.
It's just brilliant.
Yep. Good stuff.
Well,
hold
now
on.
that we're on that subject, though,
Hold
I
on,
do
let
have
me
some
get-
positive points.
Let me get some comments in before we go to the
Oh.
positive stuff. We have to. We
How many
must.
people are on this podcast?
So Stephen Eider is all upset with me because he says he did not say that, I guess, about Gremlins, this movie being about Gremlins. He says the food in the Goblin Trolls sounds like the
They
food the
have to
Goblin
eat-
Trolls eat.
Eating is a part of their.
Sounds like Gremlins.
Okay. Well,
because
they're not
things eat.
they're not
living
trolls,
things eat.
Stephen. They're not trolls. They're goblins. Okay. Dean is here. He says hello.
I did.
And he says he wants to try the popcorn thing. All right.
Well, what you and Amanda do in your spare time is
Hey, I'm not
Up to
judging.
you.
You
No
want to throw
judgment.
popcorn at each other? Go for it. Just don't
I gotta
forget
tell you, the
cob.
next time I get corn on the cob, it's the only thing that's going to be in my head. Does that really work?
All right, let's hear the positives.
yeah.
In that scene, that very scene we just watched, it starts out with the kid in the Winnebago watching a movie. He's watching TV, and then it's the Goblin Lady, and in the background they're playing this like sexy, vampy music.
Mm-hmm.
And in the scene, the audio is coming from the television. And then she's like, come outside. He steps outside, and then it becomes the regular, like, ambient background noise. And I was like, hey, they thought of that. Good for them.
Okay. That's really stretching for a positive, but
We'll chalk that up.
I legitimately, I thought the scene where creepy kid is looking in the mirror talking to creepy grandpa, and like a goblin, I'm trying to remember it, a goblin comes into the room, grandpa gets an axe, cuts his arm off, and he jumps back through the mirror, which shatters, and then it cuts to Goblin Queen, and she's got like her arm chopped off, and it's all like a bloody stump. And I thought that scene of the goblin going through the mirror was legitimately a nice effect.
okay.
It was a good shot.
Okay.
It's nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest knocks against this film are going to be the acting and the writing. Like the directing is competent enough. Like in a more well-written film, it wouldn't stand out as being like bad direction.
Competent, yeah. Like
Yeah.
there were a couple of nice things, a couple of odd choices in terms of cinematography. When Arnold, right, is the oh my god kid.
Yeah.
When he's the tree man in the bucket and he's telling his friend, "Get me out of here," and it's just the one wide shot of him dragging the bucket and him standing up like this. There are a few odd choices. But
I think the cinematography part of the directing works, but isn't it also part of the director's job, like when he gets a stinky performance from an actor, to like go up there and like, okay, maybe try it this way or whatever, or maybe get a
well,
little
that
excited.
again
He
is a
might have
language
thought-
barrier.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess, yeah.
from more of the trivia and fun facts, he basically ignored any attempts at someone trying to help him with translation, and he was just like, no, I'm going to say it. You tell them in English. Like nobody try to come up to me or anything like that. So he apparently hates the actors too. He crashed one of their Q&A sessions within the past few years and was like screaming at them and everything. I don't know. He has some sort of
Sounds like
bone
he
to
has
pick with these
issues.
people. No. They used a lot of dry ice. Dry ice looked cool.
Yeah.
You are scraping the bottom of the barrel to find
I
positives.
took
here.
so many notes during this. Like it was unbelievable. I had to keep pausing the movie and stopping and just like scribbling stuff down. And by the end of it, I looked at my notes and it's like a madman's manifesto, just trying to go through all this. And I had to rewrite it so it would make some kind of sense.
I was taking
did you
notes
see-
too. I gave up.
Did you see all the copyrighted characters that made cameo appearances?
Garfield.
There's Garfield, yeah. There's a Garfield T-shirt.
Yeah.
There's a Mickey Mouse T-shirt.
I didn't even think
Bugs
about
Bunny, Tasmanian Devil. G.I. Joe t-shirt.
That's right. Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, there's the 89 Batman poster and a Superman poster.
There you go.
Glad you kept tabs.
Well, it was something fun to look at.
Can I just say too? It made no sense, like where the boys were going in their Winnebago. What that whole part was about? Was that
whole subplot was
he just trying to trick his friends into going with him because he was pursuing the sister? Was that the idea?
I think that's what it was. Is like they were trying to go because she wanted him to go with them,
right?
And they just left,
right?
And so he went to like chase him down and got his buddies like, hey, let's go. You know, she's my girl. And they were like,
it didn't make any. No, that's more off because it starts with him like climbing up into her bedroom window.
Yeah.
And they have an argument about like, I want to be with you, but you're always hanging out with your friends. And then of course the friends all come up in the window too. And they make an agreement on that we're going off on a vacation. Come with me. Meet me here in the morning. But instead he never shows up. And then it's just him and his friends coming up in the camper. And then later they have an odd sleeping arrangement in the camper. So there's something going on with him. Exactly.
I remember that was a weird cut. Like they're talking about it, and then it like cuts to the girl in the car, and she's like, "Oh, I thought he was gonna come with or whatever." Yeah.
Speaking of which, when they get ahead of the car of the family in their Winnebago, and they're off to the side, and the family drive by, and they're like, "Hey, there she is!" And they start like, "Hey, we're over here," and she's giving them the finger from the other side of the van. And they show a shot of the van, and it's just nothing but wind glare, glass glare,
like super far away.
Yeah, it's like, how would you even see that? You know,
it's in the script. It's in the script.
Yeah.
The Goblin theme stuck out to me. Right at the beginning, Grandpa's reading a story about Peter and the goblins and something, and you see those goblins right away running around through the woods with their creepy faces. And it seemed like all the goblin masks were the same except that one. And you both know the one I'm talking about. Yeah, the bug-eyed one with like the squished face. And
I don't know which
like so many times.
I don't know what was scarier, that bug-eyed goblin or the mom.
The bug-eyed mom. That was the mom goblin.
Yeah.
And could we just like the goblins were they were just these masks that had no animation in them or anything.
Well, no, the mouth later on they did. Do you want some, Josh?
Yeah. Human mouths moving behind rubber masks, and then their outfit was like potato sacks. I guess they were wearing
something like that.
They just had some fabric.
Yeah,
you know what? You know what the goblins remind, besides the bug-eyed one, what all the other ones reminded me of, and I wondered if this is where they got the masks. It reminded me of the. Did you ever see Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren?
Oh yes.
Yeah. You know, like the little guy.
Oh yeah.
I forget his name in the movie.
I can't remember.
It starts with a K or a Q or something.
Yeah, it's like the stand-in for Orko.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it looks similar to him, and I was like, are those like reused masks? And they just used that guy and they put him on, and that became the Goblin, because that was like 87 or late 80s, I think, when the Masters of the Universe. It would have been before Troll 2.
I don't know. I think this is all Troll 2.
Gwildor.
Gwildor.
By Bill Barty.
Oh,
fun fact.
Yes. Voice is sticking out now. But anyway, I was saying the theme for the goblins. It was like this synthesized, like light poppy fantasy thing. So it's supposed to be this terrible scene, or like, oh, here come the creepy goblins. But then it was. I don't know if you've ever seen the original Transformers animated movie with the Vince DiCola synthesized soundtrack. It just sounded like something like they're blitzing Autobot City, and here come the goblins.
So the oh no guy, I don't even know his name, but he at some point, like, there's some woman there. He's with the Winnebago team. Oh, by the way, yeah, the dad didn't like the one kid who was in love with the sister. Wanted to
because
be
that's what dads do.
Because dad was convinced that he was a playboy, that this guy was a playboy, but there was like nothing that this kid did that made you think that he was a playboy. Anyway,
and then at the end, he's just accepted. It's like, you're
he's
part of the family now.
He's part of the family, just like that. I could not get that. Like, where was that transition? Like, how did they get?
Because that's what happens in these movies.
So then, he convinces all his friends to drive there with the Winnebago. He goes, the blonde kid goes outside for a smoke while the others are inside watching that terrible movie or whatever. And he's outside smoking, and some woman just like runs by and she's all crazy. And because he's like into girls a lot, he goes running after her to stop her and friggin' tackles her down.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like hard on the ground. Like, and then he starts hitting on her. Hey, so what's going on, baby?
As she's like covered in green goo.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, they're coming to kill me. The monsters are coming to kill me. So then the monsters show up and he just looks, he's like he's not stunned at all. The monsters are there. And he's just like, well, let me take care of this. And he goes over and talks to them.
Let me give you some advice.
And then they hit him with the spear. And he goes, I gotta say, the blonde kid made me laugh the most in this movie. That was like, those were the laugh out. Like, I watched it on my own, and those were like the real laugh out loud moments for me.
Aside from that, oh my God scene, if you take his delivery, he was, not great, but acceptable as the friend of the boyfriend in this kind of a movie.
He was good, like when he was interacting with the other actors, and that, but when it was came time to be scared in those scenes, he just did not know what the heck he was doing.
No.
Yeah, like you could see him in another film, and he would blend right in.
Yeah. Okay, we're like 40 minutes in. Can we move on?
Yeah, we should move on.
Because we got 2 other movies to do. So, that's Troll 2. Don't see it.
What's the... Don't?
Yeah, don't see it. It's not good. It's not a good movie.
I mean, after all that...
I would if this movie were on, if we existed in a society where movies still came on TV randomly, like if this were just playing, there's no way I could not watch it. You'd have to sit down and just be like, oh, look, they're eating that crappy looking food again. Every cake in this movie just looked like garbage.
I've seen it once. I never need to see it again. If I want to see the funny bits, I'll go on YouTube for a minute and a half, watch the blonde kid yell twice, and then I'm good.
I really like the townsfolk extras too. Like when they're having that little QAnon meeting.
Are we just gonna drop the other 2 movies?
And then he's talking about like the people, the outsiders, and every time he says anything, everybody goes, ugh. Ugh. They're all just repulsed.
Are we dropping the other 2 movies, or are we just going to talk about this for?
Well, Curtis, you really put us in a bind because we can talk about this for a very long time.
Can I ask? Did I finally pick a Ramvox winner?
This movie is garbage, but it is so much fun. I was thinking we really need to revisit the Tubi trash again sometime, and this is perfect. This is aces.
I'm getting closer to your wheelhouse, Richard.
There's a period. Let's move on to Troll Hunter. And let's watch the trailer for Troll Hunter right now. Something big.
Oh, it's in English.
Well, it's just a name. Troll in English.
I hate when they do these like Americanized versions of trailers. They completely change the tone. They're showing an awful lot of CG in this trailer too.
Yeah. What are you talking about? This is found footage. This all happened.
Well, I guess, they're trying to sell this to a foreign market. You can't waste time. Just show them what they're going to want to see. This is going to be big with the rental crowds.
Oh. There you go. Get it in you. All right, who wants to do the rundown?
Why don't you do it, Kevin? Because you know Curtis wants to do the next one.
Okay, hold on. I got to get back to that page now. What are we on, Trollhunter? A group of students investigates a series of mysterious bear killings, but learns that there are much more dangerous things going on. They start to follow a mysterious hunter, learning that he's actually a troll hunter. Oh, this is why you wanted me to do this. All the foreign names. Film stars Otto, Robert, and Knut. That's what I'm going with. Director is Andre, and Andre wrote the movie as well. The runtime is 1 hour and 43 minutes. The budget was 19,009,000 NOKs, and the movie made 5.3 million. So depending on how much an NOK is, this movie either did really well or terrible. Fun facts. I was only able to find one fun fact. The movie contains several characters played by Norwegian comedians. Otto, Knut, Robert, and Hans are all high-profile comics in Norway. That's it.
So this was essentially like this is Spinal Tap, but for Norway's comedians.
I guess so.
Yeah,
You know.
well, it seems an odd choice, though, because when you do a found footage movie, if you cast a well-known name or face, doesn't that really detract from the experience?
I think that's part of the Norwegian humor. They thought that like it's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
At the core of this movie, it is a comedy, I think.
Is it really? I didn't find it all that... Cause it seemed like they were playing it fairly straight for the most part. I mean,
That's what's funny is they're taking it so seriously, because and maybe a part of it is you have to be Norwegian, but that's like a big part of Norwegian culture is like the trolls and stuff. And so it'd be like, what would be the equivalent for us, like taking some mythology thing and like really playing it super straight. Like this is a real thing, setting up the rules.
Right. Yeah. The cultural aspect of it is very important. I noticed that when they finally started showing the trolls, the really cartoony, goofy style of them, it reminded me of the Epcot Center. There's like a troll ride at Disney World in Epcot, and you're supposed to be in Norway. It's one of those like go around the world things, and they all had that like the certain facial features of the trolls reminded me of that.
Yeah. There's even some similar features on the trolls in our next film, Ernest Scared Stupid. They kind of got the big noses. And...
All right. Hey, Bill's got a nice fun fact there. Jump to the comments.
Oh, fun fact! I couldn't find subtitles on the Fandango folder. He puts his files on folders. I put them in folders, so maybe that's why he couldn't find it. I don't know. But he couldn't find it on the Fandango folder cut of this movie, so couldn't watch. If you look inside of the folder, Bill, you will find it there. It's there. Although I found the subtitles really wacky, man. Like it took me a while to get them lined up properly. I had mine like delayed about 9 seconds, and then it finally sort of lined up. I was always like a few like the subtitles were always a few seconds ahead or a few seconds behind the movie. It was a little bit hard to follow. But
was it not on Netflix for you guys?
Nope, it was not.
I didn't check. I had already gone into the VLC with this.
I checked Netflix and Prime, and I knew it wasn't on Disney Plus, and I think I checked Tubi. I even checked Tubi, see if it was on. Was not.
When in doubt, check Tubi.
Because I watched it in London. That's why I thought, well, maybe it'll be on Canadian Netflix.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us about your first viewing of this, Curtis?
I don't know what got me interested in it, but I had some downtime and I thought I'm going to watch. I guess I was just in the mood to watch a foreign film because you're not always in the mood to watch something you got to read and really focus on. But I was in a mood that day and I didn't know much about it. So I kind of went in with really low expectations, and it was kind of a pleasant surprise for me. I finished it and I thought, hey, that was pretty darn good. Like it made sense. Like they stuck to the rules that they set up. They had some fun set pieces with the trolls. I thought the whole climax of the film was really fun. And the acting was great all around. So it was a surprise, complete surprise to me. And I thought this would be a fun one to share. So that's where I'm coming from.
All right.
I'm following Richard's lead on this one because I'm not sure what's happening now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just curious. Well, here's the thing. I think you mentioned it right at the beginning. You have to be in the right mood to watch a foreign film sometimes.
Sure.
So it's a bit cumulative here because you got foreign film and you've got found footage, and I think both of those require a high degree of focus.
Yes.
And I made the mistake of watching this film last. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this Troll 2. I've seen Ernest before. I'm kind of in the mood for a goofy thing. This Troll Hunter, more modern thing. All right, I guess it's going to be something like, like an action movie. I'll save that for last. I lost my chance to watch this like a day or two ago. So I had to watch it last night right before going to bed. Put it on, no subtitles. What's going on? Oh God, this is a foreign movie. Okay, figure it out. Finally, it's like sending messages and like, okay, finally I got it to go. At that point, I'm getting tired. I was like, okay, I'm watching a foreign film. And found footage movies, the benefit I'll give to the genre of that is that you really have to pay attention to the subtlety, and you can get away with a lot of subtlety because it's all about expressions and like quick, like cameras over here. This guy, like this guy's talking about going to fight trolls, and then the student filmmaker is like looking at a snapped tree and like the jagged edges, and he's like, he's got this look on his face, like, what are you talking about? We're gonna go follow these things. And so much of that is just through the body language and the looks, and I appreciate that, but you can't look away, especially when it's a foreign film. It's like you got to keep focused, and I was just falling asleep, not from the film, but just I was tired. So I had to set my alarm clock to wake up early today so I could finish watching the thing. I'm still waking up, and I'm like, yeah, I got to focus on every little detail. That aside, the little positives of those little details, I wasn't expecting this movie to get so goofy, because it starts out, they're playing it fairly straight. All right, somebody's killing bears and you have to have a license to kill bears. And, obviously something's going on. Oh, who's this crazy guy over here? He's got a weird cabin. What's his deal? Let's go ask him some questions. He's very secretive, of course, doesn't want to answer questions, doesn't want to be on camera. They keep following him. I know the title of the movie, so I know it's coming. I'm waiting for it. And then you're out in the woods, and then you hear like the snapping of trees and this guttural like moaning and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is pretty creepy. This is nicely done. You see some trees waving in the distance. And then you get to that scene that was in the trailer of him running up to the camera, troll. And then you see the thing, and it's this cartoon CGI thing with 3 heads, and it's sniffing and prancing around. I was like, man, they built this up in such a serious manner. I was expecting something a little bit more, solid, and then it's just, ooh, creepy trolls coming around. And then after that, it kind of lost me.
I will say, though, I think as far as the design of the trolls, they kind of stick to the traditional depiction of how trolls look. So, which are very
I don't mind the style, but it's not cartoony in the design. It's cartoony in the quality of the CG.
Sure, and that's
it
maybe
looked
just
like
a budget
some like
thing.
after school kids show of like, oh, the trolls are coming, Harry Potter, let's run away.
I feel like they spent all their money on the last troll fight thing, the big one.
He did look a little bit better.
Yeah, but they do a lot of tricks.
Like the long nosed guys that are farting in the cave and stuff.
They do it. They do a lot of tricks with like the night vision, or it's dark in the shadows.
Yeah.
So they try and hide the CGI.
Well, that's the downside of these found footage movies for me, because they always seem to be about a horror element. So, at some point you're going to get the shaky cam where everyone's running, and finally you see what you've been waiting to see, but everybody's going to be running, and then all you're seeing is feet and falling down. I was like, I wish this were shot as a regular movie at that point.
Yeah. And apparently, fun fact, they are going to be adapting this eventually for American audiences. I heard some news. Someone got the rights, whether or not it'll ever come
Diesel.
to be. Yeah.
Trollhunter.
Well, it would be comics, I imagine. Be comedians.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Probably. Who knows? Kevin, what did you think?
Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be one of those Adam Sandler Netflix originals.
We could only be so lucky.
No, I liked it. Out of all three movies, this is the one I liked. I thought I'm the opposite of Richard. I loved that I didn't know which way this movie was going to go. I didn't know if they were going to be taking it serious throughout the entire film, or if it was going to be a bit of a goof, because at the beginning it does the whole found footage thing of like, this is, some footage that we found and it's all thing, and we can't decide on whether or not it's real or not. And we had experts look at it. They all verify that this is real.
Experts.
So,
maybe they should show it to those YouTube channels. The actual CGI artist reacts to, movie from 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, they couldn't. I don't know. That's what they said. They couldn't figure it out. So I'm just like, okay, let's see where this is going to go, because that's pretty much how the Blair Witch starts as well, right? And the smart thing that the Blair Witch does is it never shows the witch. You never know what it looks like. It's always off camera or whatever, Anyways, so I'm watching this, and when the guy comes down trolls, I'm like, well, that was a little too perfectly shot for found footage. Like they actually put some forethought into how that was shot. And then when the troll came out, I was like, okay, yeah, this is like we're about having some fun. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun movie. So I liked it. Thought the characters were good.
I think it has a nice build. Like, it starts with some smaller action and it builds up and builds up. There's some great tense. Like the whole farting troll scene is super tense. We got to be extra quiet so they don't hear us. You have different types of trolls. You got the 3-headed ones. You got the big ones. The
one that I was waiting for was a small one, though, because right at the beginning, the one guy gets bitten. And then they show the troll, and it's like as tall as the trees. Like, how did he get bitten by that giant 3-headed troll? Like a little nip on his shoulder?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
I don't remember.
His clothes were all ripped, right? And then he had to like patch it up with duct tape.
Yeah, but like your human-sized shoulder, and then they show this troll that's towering over.
Well,
everybody.
did it bite him, or did it just try to grab him?
No, he got bit because he gets rabies at the end.
Oh, he gets okay. That was okay.
Were you watching this movie?
I tried my best to watch it, but like I said, the subtitles were always off on me, so I did find parts of it really hard to follow. Like, I mean, like they'd be like the guy would be talking, telling them stuff, and I would get like, oh no, troll, and I'm like, okay, so I'm waiting for the subtitles to catch up, and sometimes they wouldn't catch up, so I would just miss like parts of dialogue, and I couldn't go back and watch it because I run out of time to try to find like a better copy or whatever. So I tried my best. So there were parts where it was there stuff I missed some stuff. I did find it hard to follow because of I would like to get a copy where the subtitles were, in sync throughout the whole thing so I can follow it.
It matched up for me, and I just downloaded what you put in there.
I don't know what it was. It was like, it would sometimes be like 8 seconds. Like I timed it. Like I started the movie and the captions came up, and then the subtitles came in right for the captions, and it was like 8 seconds. So I put, okay, move the subtitles 8 seconds forward. So I would do that. And then like I'd watch like 2 minutes of the movie, and then the subtitles would be off again. So then I just set everything to 0, and I just hoped for the best that I would catch everything, but I didn't. But you didn't really need to know everything that was said.
Well, I started watching it when I didn't have the subtitle. I just started watching it and just trying to figure out what was going on.
Getting out your Norwegian dictionary.
Camera crew looking for Hunter. find his trailer, start bugging him. And I watched like 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. But then I finally got the subtitles. Like, okay, so they're thinking he's a poacher and he came out and shot these bears. And okay.
The other thing I found funny too was that how the guy is very adamant that trolls are nothing like what you read in the fairy tales and stories. Those are fairy tales and stories. And then throughout the entire movie, they were pulling stuff from fairy tales and stories all the time, like the one troll that lives under the bridge.
Right,
and then he eats goats. You know, it's
right,
like,
the three billy goats gruff and all that.
Are these trolls
I love the rules they set up though, like the whole troll, the sunlight kills him and he's got like the like UV ray gun. Oh, that's such a cool idea. And then at the end when he's got the big spotlight one, what was the other thing? Oh gosh, I was just thinking, what are some other trolls rules?
Well, the troll scent, they're like rubbing that all over themselves.
Oh yeah.
The trolls can smell your faith.
Yeah, if you're Christian.
that was and then one of the people lied. He's like, why didn't you tell us you were a Christian? Right. No, the how they explained why they never went out of their like perimeter because they got the
power lines.
The power lines, which I thought, oh, that's brilliant because it's something that's just there already, and they just explain it away like this is why power lines exist. You know. That was great.
You'd think maybe if trolls were a big problem in the area, they'd have more than one guy who has to drive around in his truck.
None of that makes any sense. I mean, the fact that these massive beasts are hiding, that nobody has seen them.
Nobody knows.
They be leaving dung everywhere and making pushing trees out of the way and all that stuff. And I know they tried to explain it with like tornadoes and all that, but whatever. It's fine. It's just a fun movie. You're not supposed to sit there and analyze all that. Break down all that stuff.
I'm not against the movie. If people want to watch it, go ahead. I'm not as in love with it as you two are, because I think if I put this on again, I wouldn't have the level of focus to sit there and read the subtitles and go through the entire movie again.
I do want to watch it again with the subtitles in sync. I want to.
Yeah, you got to find a good copy of that, Kevin.
Okay. Ready to put a period there? Ready to move on?
The main event?
Yeah, Richard does not have any good things that happen in this movie? Nothing in your notes?
Well, I told you, I like the whole thing of found footage and that sort of documentary style I enjoy because you get a lot of subtlety of character. And I thought the Troll Hunter did give a really good performance. When he finally dropped his like leave me alone and you just start talking to him and he's sitting there and he's just being a normal guy.
I watched Troll 2 before I watched this movie. So like any sort of acting would seem great to me at this point. And I thought they all did a fantastic job. So maybe that was it. Maybe just Troll 2 lowered that bar so low that maybe that's why I like this movie, but I don't know.
The other thing that kept popping in my head is the camera crew. I kept thinking of the camera crew from Better Call Saul, the university students that shoot his commercials.
Yeah. It did kind of seem like that.
Every time I saw the boom operator, the girl is like, wait, is that the one from Saul?
Okay, let's move on to the big show. Here we go. The trailer for Ernest Scared Stupid. Wait, hold on. Let me press play. There we go.
Touchstone. This was a Disney joint.
Come on, audio. Work with me here. Okay, here we go.
To life.
I sure hope you're from Cleveland.
And now Ernest P. Worrell is springing into action. He'll try anything
I know Tai Chi Kung Fu, chow mein.
and everything
Your shoes untied.
to save the day.
It's showtime.
It's Ernest P. Worrell in a brand new movie, Ernest Scared Stupid.
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips? Know what I mean?
Best line in the
October
movie.
11th at a theater near you.
Before we can you go back in that trailer?
Hold on.
I just want to say the one thing that stuck out is there's one scene where they're in the gymnasium and the troll is on one side and Ernest comes in on the other side, that two shot, and I think Freddy versus Jason ripped that shot off because there's like an identical shot of them coming into the screen like that.
In this part?
No, it's it's in the middle or towards the end. Don't worry about it.
Rim shot. Rim shot was only in 2 movies.
Yeah.
Rim shot.
Fun fact.
That
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Like
that's-
every time I saw that, I was like, no, that's the Freddy versus Jason shot.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's the shot right there. Oh, I can't. Come on.
It is a really good shot. Like I like
Yeah.
when Ernest like really steps into action and he's in battle mode.
He is a good like visual actor, you know.
Well, yeah, let's do our rundown and everything, but
Okay.
a lot of that's going to come up.
Okay,
Curtis,
Curtis.
this is you.
Yes, the rundown. Movie number 3, Ernest Scared Stupid. Ernest accidentally unleashes an ugly troll that plots to transform children into wooden dolls in the town of Briarville, Missouri. The film stars the late, great Jim Varney, Eartha Kitt, and some dumb kids. It was directed by John Cherry, who also wrote it alongside Coke Sam's. Love that name. It's got a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. It had a budget of $9.6 million, but it had a disappointing box office of $14.1 million, which effectively ended the Disney version
Cinematic
of Ernest. There was still
Curtis.
one. Yeah.
I was just going to say you skipped over a fun fact here. This movie was written by Cherry Coke.
Oh, there you go. Technically, it would be Cherry Sam's if you're going by last name,
Whatever.
but I see what you were doing.
Yeah. I picked and chose my facts for that one. Oh, did Curtis freeze?
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Fun fact. Okay, here we go. Fun facts. The pizzas seen being thrown at the bullies who try to attack the kids' treehouse are reused props from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
I thought that was really interesting. Like how you'd keep a pizza.
Yeah, gotta have your
Why
pizza
would you
prop.
throw? Yeah, why would you throw it out?
And,
use it again.
you know, because those things are usually like sticky and slimy.
Hmm.
You ever see Problem Child when they start throwing pizzas at Gilbert Gottfried? That stuff is just like glue coming off their faces.
But I think there's like what they load onto the pizza launcher thing is different from what
Right.
actually hits the kids.
Base pizza, and,
Yeah.
The second and final Ernest movie to feature Ernest's dog, Rimshot. Sorry, I didn't know that was in here. No.
Yeah.
In an Entertainment Weekly article from 1990, when Ernest Goes to Jail was in theaters, there was discussion about the next Ernest movie titled Ernest Scared Stupid, but the plot described at the time was about Ernest inheriting a haunted house from his family. I would like to see that movie.
Yeah, that does sound good. Headstones are seen in the film's poster, but there is no cemetery in the film itself. It is speculated by fans that the antagonist Trantor the Troll was originally supposed to dig up dead children to feed his army, and Ernest was a caretaker for a cemetery. This theory hasn't been confirmed, but would seem likely. Man, that's some like Stanley Kubrick, conspiracy theory BS right there. That's what that is.
Well, the subtext is there. You just got to know how to
Sure.
read it.
Mm-hmm.
The only Ernest movie reviewed by Siskel and Ebert. This is because Ebert never saw an Ernest movie before. It got 2 thumbs down.
Aw. Some people believe the reason why this film didn't perform as well at the box office as its predecessors is because many kids found it to be too scary. Many people agree that the thought of a troll stealing the souls of children and the troll's deaths to be very disturbing. Now that's subtext.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. It's all you, Curtis.
Well, this is a stone cold classic. Regardless of what you two think, you either agree with me or you're wrong. I absolutely love Ernest. I think this is the best Ernest film. It's the one I watched the most as a child. And I think it's the funniest Ernest film. I think it's got the best. There are so many. I really wonder because Jim Varney is just he really is just so good. I wonder if any of it was improvised because there's so many slick little one-liners that are hidden in there that I actually had never heard before until I watched this version of the film. And I don't know if it was made up or written, but it's just brilliant, just so good. I don't know what is there to say about this film. It's phenomenal. Oh, I love the design of the troll, Trantor. Great design. Like
his ears that kind of came out.
Animatronics, everything. It looks really good. Great troll.
It's a nice puppet.
You know, I was actually surprised you didn't mention in the fun facts that a lot of the trolls at the end of the film were reused costumes from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, painted in troll colors.
Didn't know. I was just going to say even though they don't appear until late in the film, they are of a decent quality. It's not like they just threw the goblin masks and a couple of people around. Because that final act of battling the trolls goes on for like a good 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of troll time at the end. Kevin.
Yeah.
Now, you want to hold off a little bit more? I can say stuff.
Yeah, you go ahead. You say so. You know what? I got to go to the bathroom, so you go ahead. I'll be right back.
Well, I'll say this. The whole film is the Jim Varney show. This is Jim Varney created a character, and he created a performance. And if you are in touch with that performance and that character, it's great fun. Because you could forget about the plot, you could forget about anything that's going on. Most of the fun you get from watching an Ernest movie is just watching Jim Varney do his thing. That's his shtick. And he's good at it, and he's the only person that can pull off that character. It's one of those characters that can never be recast, can never be replaced or changed in any way. It's just, that is what it is. And you either get it or you don't. I do get it. I don't think the whole plot and the whole film is as strong as his character. And I do think this film gets better as it goes on. It starts off okay. It's like, all right, I've seen other Ernest movies. I think those I prefer Goes to Jail or Goes to Camp as a whole film or Saves Christmas. But by the time you get to probably the halfway point, when stuff's really happening, the trolls are out and, they're trying to figure out what's going on and they're collecting the wooden dolls and all this stuff. The ending is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
The ending is so much to enjoy of just, there's great costumes. There's a lot of slapstick going on. All the characters have come together and it's just visually, there's so much to look at. And Jim Varney is doing so much of his pratfalls and his faces, and he's got the multiple personalities things going on. It's just there's a lot of fun there. You're up, Kev.
Did you say you liked it?
I say that I like Jim Varney. I really like the Ernest character. I like his performance.
Yes.
I think the movie gets better in the second half. And I think there's a lot of fun to be had. This is a movie I could absolutely sit down and watch with my kids. I know they would enjoy it and they'd have a fun time with it. There are a lot of practical things as far as effects and costumes. I really liked Eartha Kitt. She gave a wonderfully over-the-top performance in this.
With
I
heart.
thought she was with heart. She was really into it. Yeah, I mean, it's such a silly little, movie. Just like, I don't know, she's just getting a paycheck or whatever. But she gave it her all. She actually, I'm thinking Halle Berry is going to turn into Eartha Kitt at some point because there's such a similarity. If you look at like contemporary Halle Berry, who's getting a little older,
They both played Catwoman.
That is true.
Oh.
So Eartha Kitt knows, like, she's been doing that kind of acting for a long time. So I felt like she was honing in that 66 Batman.
Yeah, perfectly appropriate for this film. Oh, I got more notes here, but go ahead, Kev. Sure.
Okay, well, this is one of those movies where I feel that I'm sitting here and I'm watching, I started up and I'm watching it, and I see Ernest. He's playing this custodian in a school. He's coming up with like these awesome contraptions with the mops and the buckets and all that. And then they cut to the teacher in the classroom who's explaining to the kids, about life and all that stuff. And then Ernest, drives by in the garbage truck, and there's commotion and all that. And I'm thinking, this is good. This is going to be a good time. This is going to be funny. This seems like a great setup for Ernest to do some hijinks. He's in a school. He's a custodian.
I just want to clarify before you go any further. Kevin, is this the first time you've seen this?
I couldn't remember if I had seen it before. I started watching it and I thought, oh, I have seen this before. But then we got to a point where it got all troll. So I think what I had watched the beginning of this movie, and then I stopped it at some point and stopped watching the rest of the movie because I don't remember any of it. And then, so this time, at some point when the troll came and Ernest puts his hand on the tree and accidentally calls up the troll, and the troll shows up with the two noses and that. At some point, I drifted off and fell asleep. And I woke up at some point. I don't know when, but I hit stop and I never went back to watch the rest of the movie because I didn't care to. Because I think this is one of those movies where that setup was a better premise than the actual movie. Like I remember there's a Bill Murray movie that's the same thing. It's the Man Who Knew Too Little. And at the beginning of the movie, it's Bill Murray, and he's like a self-help guy. He's writing a self-help book, and people are coming in telling him how great his self-help book is. And he's like, smart ass answer Bill Murray's, like the usual stuff. And then it goes off into like this murder caper and that. And it's like, well, no, that's the movie right there. That's the movie they should have made. And that's what I feel like with this movie. Jim Varney doing hijinks and coming up with awesome contraptions and that as a custodian, I think would have made a funnier, better movie than the troll stuff.
Not a custodian. That's what I thought at first too. I thought he worked at the school. He is just a garbage man. And I think he runs around because the whole thing is he has to go clean up.
Garbage man.
He has to go clean up that what's her name?
Is that so? Why was the sheriff?
Lady Hackmore's place?
Yeah.
Why was the sheriff his boss? That didn't make any sense. The mayor was like telling the sheriff, tell Ernest to smarten up and all that. It's like, well, why is he you're the mayor?
It's a small town. They have multiple roles.
I guess.
Wait, so you've never seen the end of the movie, Kevin?
I've seen the beginning twice. And
you missed the best
that's
part.
What I was just saying is that gets better.
Yeah,
that's the first time I heard that. That's the first time I've heard that.
The last 20-30 minutes is the hijinks that you're waiting for.
It really delivers on what it builds up to.
I just feel like as if the movie was just, like you were saying, you couldn't tell if it was ad-lib or if everything was written. It felt like there was like zero direction. Like the kids, like that one scene where they're in the garage and the kid is asking him questions and it's just going bang, bang, bang through all of Ernest's characters and he's just saying stuff. And there was no punchline to anything that he was saying. It was just all silly stuff. Like it didn't make any sense. And the kid's sitting there laughing, and it's like, there didn't seem to be any setup to any jokes.
That's fair. That was a down point in the film.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Like, I don't know. It lost me. And like I said, I fell asleep and I didn't feel like watching the rest because it felt like as if that was going to be the rest of the movie. It didn't feel like as if they had any sort of like when we're reading the fun facts here, and it seems like as if the movie had like several different ideas and that. And I think like, to me, like that's what this movie, they got on set and they just started making up stuff as they went. Like they had like this basic premise where Ernest is going to call up a troll, and they just kind of, made up stuff as they went. That's what it felt like to me.
Well, that's the Ernest character. By now, this is the fourth theatrical film. Plus, he had done all those commercials and everything. So it was kind of like, what to expect from Ernest. Here's a movie. Here's another movie. Here's another movie. Here's another movie. Yeah. And then they kept going after this. But it's fun to watch. A lot of great visuals. Curtis, you mentioned the troll suit. Aside from the animatronics, all this like boogers and slime, like they'd actually put all this crap all over it just to make it even grosser. And sorry, spoiler at the end, but there is an explosion that I did not see coming. Like, I've seen this movie before, but I didn't see that explosion coming, and that was kind of shocking. And you can see that, I imagine some people would think this movie is kind of dark, the souls being ripped out of children, and there were like kids that had been statues for like 100 whatever years, like those original kids that had gotten trapped, which means that Eartha Kitt's character is actually several hundred years old.
No, okay. So that is a point of contention since I was a kid that I've always wondered about. And I was trying to piece it together this time. I think the beginning of the film is like the turn of the century-ish. I was trying to like do her age and like how old because she would have been a little girl. They show her as a little girl.
Okay.
And they show her like with her brothers and sisters that come out at the end. And remember, like the brother says, like, oh, you're so old, They show her at the beginning. And so I was like, okay, she's got to be.
Because Ernest says that was his great grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay, so without any supernatural shenanigans, she just aged.
She's just old. Yeah.
She's just old. She's just eccentric and okay.
But it is a little weird. It's kind of like the Jedi Order thing where it's like, oh, that's just an old myth. Nobody believes that. It was like, dude, that was like 20 years ago. People were being Jedis and stuff. What are you talking about? That's totally real. That's like with this troll thing. It's like, that was like 70 years ago, bro. You don't remember that? Like all the kids were getting taken from the town. Half of them are still missing. That one is a little shaky, but I think they cover their bases in explaining it. I was really paying attention to that aspect this time. I will say this, Kevin. Thank you so much for getting the blue video version of this, because it turns out the Blu-ray is an expensive, rare, out-of-print Blu-ray. And so now I have the highest quality of that film to watch anytime I want.
Well, it was the only copy that was available, and I didn't want to download it because it was huge. It was a huge file, and I had to remove a bunch of stuff off of the Fandango folder to get it in there. But it's there. Well, it served the purpose.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad.
And I would encourage you to finish that film.
We'll see.
Some fun stuff. The tree when like the troll eggs are coming out and these like creepy little egg things start bursting out of the trees. That was a fun effect.
It's it's a bit like Gremlins. Like at the end, it just turns into insanity because there's like 100 trolls or whatever.
Yeah, just big fight scene, big battle between a lot of different people.
One of my favorite parts is.
I got a question for you,
Yeah.
Curtis, as you are the Ernest enthusiast. Early in the movie, Kevin, you probably saw this part when he's in the garbage truck and he's getting trapped, and he pulls the battery out of the remote as a way of stopping the machine. There is an electrical charge that goes from the battery to the device. Was that a reference to Electroman from the end of Ernest Goes to Jail?
I mean, it makes sense because that was the film that directly preceded this one. And the animation, that's exactly how the animation looks when he's doing the electrical powers at the end of Ernest Goes to Jail. So it totally makes sense. And I mean, why not?
Like it's a little lingering effect of that adventure.
Yeah. So that's a good catch, though. That's a good catch.
I was wondering.
And dude, that
treehouse
nice. They build is like the coolest treehouse ever in the whole world.
Oh yeah, it's that Rube Goldberg, Pee Wee, Ernest. They all get into these just having these crazy contraptions. The pizza / dog food shooter that they used to fight off the bullies. That one bully who his name was Murdoch. The family name was Murdoch.
They're both Murdoch.
Right, the family name Murdoch, but that one kid I can only see as Burgle Cut Jr. Remember the character from Willow? His body type of that fat kid. Like, I don't know. But it was satisfying. I like when bullies get their comeuppance, and I like seeing them get hit in the face with dog food.
Yeah.
And the machine, how like after it shot the dog food, the can would like eject from the machine as like a spent shell.
Yeah.
That's fun stuff.
It's good. It's the attention to detail.
We had Bobby with the drums.
Yep. No Chuck though. It was Tom.
Yeah. They I didn't realize that they alternated characters because I remember it's Chuck and Bobby in Saves Christmas.
So this is it. So Chuck is in Ernest Goes to Camp. Chuck is in Ernest Saves Christmas. Bobby's in Ernest Saves Christmas. Bobby is in Ernest Goes to Jail. Bobby is in Ernest Scared Stupid with Tom. So Chuck is in 2, but there's only one film that actually has Chuck and Bobby together, and that's Saves Christmas.
Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Huh.
But everyone remembers them as like the pair.
That's like I always picture it's them in all the movies.
I know, but it's no. The authentic Bulgarian Miak is one of the best lines in all of cinema. See, Kevin, you maybe didn't see the setup.
I did see the Miak part. I think that's when I fell asleep and then I woke up and he was throwing Miak.
Did you see the setup for it where he's reading the book and
and the L is crossed.
and he goes he goes to authentic Bulgarian Miak and he says something like, "Bet you didn't think I could get it this time of year. It was out of season."
I meant to look at, is Miak an actual thing?
I looked it up while I was watching.
It is.
Yeah, I looked it up. I don't think it is.
There was also a great quote about he is the great redneck hope.
Yep.
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
The troll says, something about like you're paying for the sins of your forefathers, and Ernest says something like, "I never had forefathers. I only had one, and I didn't know him that well."
That was a great scene with Ernest on the truck fighting the troll, and then knocking him off and everything.
Yeah,
it was a nice scene.
Good fight. Like, I know Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Chow Mein, and I saw Hulkamania 3 times, once in slow mo.
A lot of quick language coming out of Jim Varney.
Yeah.
Also like the scene, it was Bobby and Tom, was it?
Yeah, Tom and Bobby. Yeah.
Basically, Ernest goes in and is like, "Oh, there's trolls. I these trolls." And being the slick businessman, he's just like, "Yeah, insulated troll gloves, $49.99." He's just selling them all this merchandise on how to fight the trolls. You got everything ready to go.
Yeah. Does that include what does he say? Does that include the 2-disc troll love songs?
Right.
he's sure like, "Do rattlesnakes kiss carefully?"
I'm down with Ernest.
Heck,
not the greatest movie. I think it has a slow intro and kind of a dip, maybe like until they get into the second act and the troll stuff starts happening. But that ending just. Whoosh.
I love it. It's my favorite. What's your favorite of the Ernest movies?
I'd have to watch them all again to really know, because I watched Goes to Camp a lot as a kid. That's the one I had a copy of. And I have good memories, but it's been 20 plus years since I've seen it. I know I've seen Goes to Jail, which I have good memories of. Saves Christmas is the one that I've probably seen the most in recent years, and I still enjoy that movie. I think there's a lot going on with the Santa and all that. Scared Stupid was, in the past, I remember not enjoying it so much. It was like I think I'm remembering a lot of the stupid kids, the 90 kids running around doing their stupid lines, but I really enjoyed a lot of it this time. So I really just need to watch them all again. We got to do the official Ernest, timeline, solid Fandango.
Kevin's excited.
I'm ready. I like Ernest Saves Christmas. I watched that last Christmas, and it wasn't as good as I remembered it, but I did enjoy it for what it was.
And there was Santa Claus.
There was no Vern in this movie. Or
Vern. Vern is only in Saves Christmas, actually.
Really?
The whole Vern sequence. I don't think there's a Vern. Yeah, because that was, if you're unfamiliar with Ernest, Vern was the person he was always talking to in the commercials.
He's the camera. Yeah.
He's the camera. Yeah, and so they brought that into the film. Yeah, actually, I watched Ernest Scared Stupid with Layla, and it was her first time watching the movie. And afterwards, because she knows I'm a big Ernest fan, and I told her there's all these other Ernest movies. She looks at me and she went, "You have permission to watch other Ernest movies with me." And I was like, "Yes, meant to be. I love you."
Wow.
True love. There you go.
Yep.
Does she tolerate your Ernest costume?
She loves it. That's great.
Do you wear that only for Halloween? Do you ever just walk down the street dressed as Ernest?
You know, I haven't. I've only worn it for Halloween, but it's such an easy Halloween costume. There's no mask, no props I have to carry. The toughest thing to find was the vest that matches like the vest that he has. And then I had to specially order this blank, like beige hat.
Isn't that the weirdest thing, that it's hard to find blank hats? So you have to have some stupid logo or garbage on it?
Yeah. So
I got some comments here. What do I want to go to? Which one? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Steven, I believe he's referring to Troll 2. He says it sounds funnier than Borat 2.
I think he was talking about Trollhunter at the time.
Whatever.
Maybe, whatever.
Whatever. It wouldn't surprise me that the nuance of Borat 2 would go over Steven's head. Bill says all Trump stuff over Kevin's recommendation videos. I only see one, but he says they're all. I see John Wick 2. I see David Lee Roth on David Letterman. I see Retro Fandango. I see the Dreamtastic channel. So I don't know. Bill's seeing multiple Trumps these days. And he also says he only has bad Ernest memories.
And show the comment he did after that.
Got pummeled by Canadian Ernest movies?
Yes.
What Canadian Ernest movies? Oh, that's okay. So we did air a lot of those.
So there are 9 Ernest movies in total. Technically, there's 10, but one of them was like a made-for-TV movie or something. I've never seen that one. There's 9 official films. The first 4 were produced by Disney. That's Camp, Jail, Christmas, Stupid. And then the next 5 were all produced in Canada. That's Rides Again, Goes to School, Slam Dunk Ernest, In the Army, Goes to Africa. And all of those are not very good. Ernest Rides Again, which is the 5th film, was the last theatrical film, and that bombed. And then from there on out, the final 4 were direct to video. There was supposed to be a 10th film in the Ernest series before Jim Varney unfortunately passed away from lung cancer at the age of 50 in 2000. And it was going to be titled Ernest the Pirate, which would have been phenomenal.
Could have been fun. We talked about this earlier. If there had been a sci-fi Ernest.
Oh, Ernest Goes to Space.
Would have been Ernest Goes to Space would have been great.
Yeah. So, but that's the Canadian.
You could just see him with the spacesuit on and the denim vest and the hat over it.
Yeah.
See, I think they need to take it back. I think Garbage Man Ernest would have made a fantastic movie.
Well, he's like a different janitor type thing in every film. Like he's a bank janitor in Goes to Jail. He's like a garbage man in Ernest Scared Stupid. He's a mall janitor in Slam Dunk Ernest.
He's a taxi driver and Goes to Christmas, though.
He's a taxi driver and saves Christmas. He doesn't go to Christmas.
Sorry.
He's like the handyman at camp. Whatever. What's the name of the camp? Chickachi or what is it? Chicka. I don't know. Whatever the camp is.
It was the 80s. It's got to have some stereotypical Native American name.
Yeah, I want to say Camp Anawana, but that's Salute Your Shorts from Nickelodeon. But yeah, he's always like some everyman job.
Yeah.
That's how you get a movie going successfully. You have the average person doing extraordinary things or up against extraordinary situations.
And like every film has some sort of like supernatural element to it too.
Santa, electric power.
Camp has it's small, but it has the Native American like legend thing where he's like got courage. And you remember at the end when he's standing and the guy's trying to shoot him and he keeps getting closer and the bullet no matter how close he is, the bullet like doesn't hit him. And then he gets up to
so long. I don't know.
Richard, you're letting me down.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I could go on and on.
Glop that they were, cooking up, and then Ernest eats it, and then he has to go throw up.
So many good.
Crutchfield. I remember the name Crutchfield.
And actually, the villain in Goes to Camp is the Dean from Animal House, Dean Vernon, or wait, no, John Vernon was his name, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy that
Dean Warmer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we done? Have we said it all?
End on a high note. That's how you do it.
Wrap it up.
That's how you do it.
All right. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I can't believe you made it through all this. I can't believe I made it through all this. I'd like to do a special thanks to my pal, It's Rocket Sauce Ryan, for showing me where the tab is to click so I can get audio for all the trailers for you guys. So good job. Good job, Ryan. What did we learn? We learned not to bet Curtis because he will make you pay. He will make you pay with bad movies. Bill wants...
So hang on.
Yeah.
Of the 3 films we watched, you said you enjoyed Trollhunter.
Yeah.
So that's your number 1?
Yeah, I guess.
And then what was the other movie we watched? Troll 2?
Troll 2. Troll 2 was, yeah.
Like, you couldn't even enjoy that on a sarcastic level of just, like, look how bad this is, and just goofing on.
Yeah, you guys did the Tubi trash thing. It's like in the same vein as that.
I don't know. There's something about the horror thing where it doesn't interest me. I don't know. I like the action stuff. Like, if it was more of an action movie, I like that kind of stuff.
In that case, we got to watch some Rudy Ray Moore.
But I mean, if I
some Dolomite,
like if I was watching TV and I was flipping through the channels because it's 1995 all of a sudden, and I saw it and I was with someone, and I'd say, "Oh, you got to watch some of this movie because it's so bad." That would be the only time I would actually watch it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. Watch the movie again on my own. I'll watch the clips on YouTube. That's what YouTube's for.
That's the same thing. You just turn it on, and you can do something else. You can
when I watch
polish
TV,
your records or something. You're like, look, it's the oh my god scene.
When I watch TV, I'm watching TV. That's what I do. I don't do other things. I watch TV
listen,
there are some things that you watch, and there are some things that you have on.
I don't do that. I don't have things on. I watch.
All the technology you got going on in your house, you have things on. You got so many screens.
Like, when there's a TV show on, I'm watching my TV show.
Listen, Troll 2 is a film that is to be enjoyed with friends. It's not a good movie to watch by yourself. No, I'll give you that. Although I did laugh and I do find it funny.
I laughed out loud.
But it's definitely more enjoyable if you're hanging out with your friends, having some beers, and just having a laugh.
Exactly.
Look, I got a reputation. Okay, I can't be recommending crap. Okay,
you clicked that tab that Ryan showed you. We were all able to see and hear the clips right here. So if we watch another movie like this, we just got to do this. We got to watch it together.
I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can get past the. I mean, we could do it, but we wouldn't be able to broadcast it.
Right, exactly. We don't need to broadcast it. We just that's how you would watch it. And then when we talk about it, you say, we were laughing so much, and had that experience.
Okay, well, maybe that's what we'll do next time. We'll
do a watch along.
We'll make it a Patreon exclusive.
We don't have a plan for December yet, so maybe we think of some way of doing this. Maybe instead of doing 3 movies, we just do 1 movie, and we don't have to broadcast it or anything. But
okay, so we're doing Troll 2 again.
Something down the pipeline.
There you go.
They were at one point they wanted to. I think it was the director who wanted to make a sequel, and he was going to call it Troll 2 Part 2.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, tune in next month when we'll have our buddy It's Rocket Sauce back for, I guess it's coming of age movies. We got Stand By Me, Rushmore, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter is Dead. Curtis, have you seen all these movies? You give them all a thumb up? Or?
You know, it's what was the first? Oh, Stand By Me is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I actually watched that like a year or two ago, and it's decent. It's pretty good. That was one I remember watching a lot when I was a kid.
Okay.
Plus, I met the guy. It's the older brother in it, Steve Coogan, right? Is that his name?
The Dishes Are Done Man guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a really cool dude, and I think that I was like, I want to go watch it because he's also in Adventures in Babysitting. But anyway, yeah. So that was a decent film, and then Rushmore, I don't remember. I saw that like when it was new. Which one did it come out? 98, and I was pretty young then. I don't think it really. It's a Wes Anderson film. I don't think it really grabbed me. I'd be interested to watch that again now as an adult and having a few more Wes Anderson films under my belt to see what I think.
Yeah, I find Wes Anderson hit or miss. Like
Yeah.
I love the Royal Tannenbaums, and we just watched the
Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, that was great. But
Yeah.
then the Steve Azuzu one, that one was just like
Never saw that one.
weird.
Oh, The Life Aquatic.
Yeah, that one.
That was a little
Not
stinker.
fair.
What you got to do is go to Paul W.S. Anderson and go through the Resident Evil movie series and Monster Hunter and
I do have
Mortal Kombat. Event Horizon.
You know, Paul W.S. Anderson gets a lot of crap, but that's a guy right there who truly loves his wife because he puts her in every single one of his movies all the
Happy
time.
marriage.
Dedicated.
Yeah.
So hats off to
just-
that guy.
Got
Just
Monster
enabled her
Hunter
to
coming
make
out.
millions of dollars. Happy family.
Hey, can I tell you what we're going to be doing?
I didn't catch any of that. You went all robot on me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you what we're going to be doing the next time I'm on?
Yeah,
This is
why
the
not?
challenge. You got to watch out because Rocket Sauce is coming up.
Yeah,
He's trying to
it's
take your
neck and
place
neck.
as the most frequent guest on the Filmdango.
No. Yeah, but it's apples and oranges, you know. The quality of films that I choose versus his, it's just night and day. So I'm no longer
true.
It is.
I am no longer going to let you guys choose. I've already got it picked out what we're going to do. Okay?
I'm listening.
We're going to finally do our Crazy for Swayze marathon.
God,
What?
I hate
Yep.
this show now. I don't want to do this show anymore.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
tired.
Kevin, this is right up your alley. You talking about you want to watch some great action films? This is what I'm thinking. This is my preliminary rundown for what we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching Roadhouse,
Bad
the
movie.
Never
greatest.
seen it.
Oh my God, Richard, you are going to love Roadhouse.
It's got Jeff Healey in it. I love Jeff Healey.
Best final line in any film ever. Roadhouse is great. We're going to be watching Next of Kin, Patrick Swayze and Liam Neeson together for the only time. Fantastic film. And then finally, how can you go wrong with Patrick Swayze and Meatloaf? We're going to be watching Black Dog.
Is that the truck movie?
Yup.
Okay. I think I remember the trailer for that. Patrick Swayze like on the back of a truck or something on the road.
I watched it like a couple years ago. I had been putting it off for a long time because I thought it was going to be terrible. Turns out it's amazing.
Richard, you remember when we went away from the Schwarzeneggers and we went to Filmdango because we wanted to focus on good movies?
We recommend movies to each other that we would enjoy.
Yeah,
Hey, we can do good films too, but we got to do Swayze.
What's the obsession with Swayze?
He's great. Are you kidding?
It rhymes with crazy, so
That's got a good title. you know.
I have never seen a good Patrick Swayze movie.
Well,
Ghost
I mean,
is a decent movie.
Ghost is okay.
We could maybe take one of those out and put in Point Break. Point Break is actually really
Point
good.
Break is a bad movie, but it's fun. It is fun, but it's not good.
It is good. Well, come on. There's a difference between fun and good. I mean, we can sit here and watch Oscar winners all day, but
like if you want to get like Point Break is fun because of what's his name? Not Nick Nolte, the other guy.
Keanu Reeves?
No.
Oh, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey makes that movie fun. All the scenes with Patrick Swayze on the beach and the tight outfits and all that. Fast forward, just get me to the cars chasing and all that stuff. You know, that's there you go.
Bill makes an excellent point. He was in one of the best SNL sketches ever.
Yeah, but that was because of Chris Farley. Had nothing to do with Patrick Swayze.
Well, you need the juxtaposition.
0 points.
The joke only works if you have
find any
polar
piece
opposites.
of meat and put him behind Chris Farley, and you got that skit. So.
He had to be able to dance, and he could dance.
So Next of Kin is kind of like Taken before Taken, which is funny because Liam Neeson is in Next of Kin with Patrick Swayze.
So it's a spin-off series.
It's not a spin-off. It's just kind of got weird coincidences.
I don't know how interesting this is. This is kind of like off like a camera stuff. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. I think.
All right.
Whatever. And then we could talk about this stuff after because I forgot that we're still broadcasting. So let's end it here and thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, don't forget to check us out later. We're going to be talking about vinyl records, Curtis and I. Richard, you're welcome to join us if you want to talk about music. We'll school you.
I've got to go paint some dwarves. So,
well, you can put us on in the background while you paint the dwarves.
There you go.
Rocket Sauce, thank you again. And he's going on about First Blood Part 2. I think he wants to do the behind the scenes thing with First Blood Part 2. I didn't like that movie. And thank you, Stephen, Dean, and Kyle, and Deke for all stopping in.
Just want to watch movie, Kevin. Okay, a minute.
Yes, the caveman. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and tune in next month for coming of age movies. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, Curtis, you didn't want to
Ernest
tease
lives.
anything? Curtis, you didn't want to tease anything or promote anything?
Listen to the STC Pod Vinyl thing.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.